And I would go for another 12 hours to try to break Strom Thurmond's record, but I've discovered that there are some limits to filibustering, and I'm going to have to go take care of one of those in a few minutes here.
That was Senator Rand Paul wrapping up his historic 13-hour filibuster this week. What he was trying to do was he was demanding of the administration that the president assure him that military drones in the United States are not going to be shooting Americans at cafes. Matt Kaminsky of the editorial board, the administration responded. I gather is going to respond again, essentially saying we don't intend to, but if it's a combatant, we do have the right. Did the administration give the right answer here?
Well, yes. I mean, legally speaking, I think politically is a different issue. But legally, in terms of laws of war, Attorney General Eric Holder earlier this week sent Senator Paul a letter saying that drones have never been used over U.S. territory. They have no intention of using drones over U.S. territory. But hypothetically speaking, if there are enemy combatants who have declared war on the U.S., on U.S. territory, the president does have the authority to order lethal force, whether by drone or an Abrams tank or an M16, against them. Now,
and in fact, we have killed a U.S. citizen overseas, in this case, not in the United States, but Anwar al-Awlaki, who was making war on the United States.
Right, exactly. That's sort of your passport is immaterial to whether you are an enemy of this country. In World War II, there were Americans who joined the Nazis. A couple of them actually snuck back on U.S. soil to try and perform some acts of sabotage. They were caught, they were tried by military court in secret, and they were executed, and the Supreme Court upheld it later on. The same thing applies here. I mean, the one thing which was unclear last night that, Senator Paul was saying, well, an innocent American could be targeted by a drone. No, the president has no right to target innocent Americans for extermination, believe it or not. And apparently Eric Holder has sent him a letter today clarifying that point.
Okay, I think that gets to the heart of this issue, which is we're talking about drones. That's kind of the political fascination. But as you point out, it could be any weapon. I think the question here that a lot of Americans would have is how much power does the president have without a court to say this American citizen is affiliated with Al-Qaeda? I mean, is there a danger that could be abused? Not that you want all Al-Qaeda guys on their way to detonate a bomb to get all kinds of Miranda rights, but is there a concern there?
Look, there's always a concern about the abuse of power by our government, and Americans should always be vigilant. So why we have a press, why we have Congress, why we have elections. That's a legitimate concern. In this particular case, and let's just go through this very calmly, the reason why we have drone program in the first place, which is targeting, just to be clear, it is used in the remote areas of Pakistan and Yemen against terrorist hideouts where we cannot send soldiers to detain these guys or fight them in any other way. But the reason why this is happening is because after 9/11, Congress passed a resolution that authorized the president that basically declared a state of war, as the president, as the executive under the Constitution, can do what it is necessary to defend the U.S. And that has applied all the way through. The different question here is, is the president being clear enough about this? Should he be asking for new authorization? That's legitimate. But I think that was lost. I mean, these serious points were lost in the theatrics of yesterday.
Okay, one more about, and we got to go quickly here, but in terms of the presidential message and what seems a contradiction when we have the drone program here and basically asserting the president's right to defend the country, to attack combatants. Then we see Thursday the news that Osama bin Laden's son-in-law is now in New York in the custody of the FBI, which seems to be treating it as a law enforcement matter, even though he has appeared in Al-Qaeda videos after 9/11 saying, we're going to get you, United States. That seems like someone who would fit in the combatant category. What is he doing in what appears to be a civilian justice process.
Well, if President Obama was still in the Senate and if George Bush was still in office, he would be on the floor there joining whoever was filibustering the Bush area counterterrorism policy. And this is actually an indictment of the Republicans who joined the filibuster. It is pure politics, and that's all it is. I mean, the problem President Obama that as a senator, as a candidate, he promised, I want this to be a law enforcement issue. He became president, it got a bit more complicated. So he did close some of these black sites. He promised to close Guantanamo, but he has used his executive authority to defend the U.S. against terrorist attacks because he knows if the attacks succeed, it'll be on him.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.